Class of 2015, I hope you have been as inspired as I have today by our two speakers. And in those minutes before you walk across this stage, I just want to share a couple thoughts with you, but we are getting very close. I want to first offer my congratulations to all of you in the class. Graduating from Oberlin College or the Conservatory or both, if you're a double degree, is a tremendous achievement. That achievement was made possible by your hard work and by the help of our tremendous faculty who are here today. They are outstanding scholars who love teaching undergraduates. Our faculty have taught you how to learn and how to be your own best teachers. That approach prepares you to meet our complex challenges and to be leaders in your chosen fields. We believe that you have acquired broadly applicable intellectual and practical skills that will serve you for the rest of your lives. I know you have applauded and thanked them before, but would you please join me in thanking our faculty for all they have done for you? We have always aimed to educate the whole person to achieve excellence as an individual and as also a citizen. And you've learned to be informed, engaged citizens who make a difference in your communities and your world. Building and maintaining a community requires engagement, work, kindness, respect, and the willingness to listen with an open mind and heart to every person's story. Those attributes also apply when discussing difficult subjects, such as those that we've talked about today: inequality, gender, race, justice. You've learned how to have those conversations here. They're not easy, but they're very, very important. Talking about difficult subjects can help generate ideas and consensus about how to move forward. But to make progress on any issue, whether it's one of those difficult topics, inequality, race, justice, climate change, immigration, or education, there must be action. So I want to remind you, class of 2015, of a simple, modest action that can make an enormous difference in your communities. It is also crucial for the future of our country and our world. It is called voting. I am talking to you about voting because our nation has a serious problem with low voter turnout. You have the power. It will not cost you. You have the power to change that. Voter turnout hit a 72-year low in 2014. Just 36.4% of eligible voters voted in our national midterm elections. That is the lowest turnout in any election cycle since World War II. About 21.5% of young people, that includes you, aged 18 to 29, voted in the 2014 midterm elections. That's actually a slight improvement from the midterms of 2014. But the overall trend is alarming, and of course, if we look at local and state elections, the numbers are even worse. Voting is the right and duty of every American citizen. It is a duty to oneself, to one's family, and to our society, our country, and our world. People in countries around the world, including our own, have fought and died just to have the right to vote. Scores of Oberlinians have given their lives defending what President Abraham Lincoln described in the Gettysburg Address as government by the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. These days, that government and our two-party system are plagued by partisan rancor and stalemate. Some commentators say the best way to protest this situation is not to vote. I've even heard some of you, some of our Oberlin students, say they don't or won't vote. That is a mistake. Not voting means you are surrendering your rights and giving up your voice. Surrender was not what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. advocated when he gave Oberlin's commencement speech 50 years ago. He urged our community to engage in the great work of civil rights and human rights. Oberlin has answered his call, and now it is your turn. The civil rights movement Dr. King led embraced the political process. The movement's leaders were working toward specific political goals, such as voting rights. That's why so many Oberlinians, including many of you here today celebrating your 50th anniversary, went to the South to register African American voters and others. The outcome of those collective efforts was the Voting Rights Act. That landmark legislation was passed in the wake of the violence unleashed on peaceful protest marchers in Selma, Alabama in 1965. The Voting Rights Act has produced meaningful change in so many ways. On a November night in 2008, for instance, this square saw one of the biggest celebrations in Oberlin history when President Barack Obama was elected. I very much doubt that that ever would have happened without the Voting Rights Act. This year, some of you, our Oberlin students, helped ensure the continuation of voting rights for college students in Ohio. And recent Oberlin graduates are currently running for office in local and state elections across this country. You, class of 2015, may never run for elected office, but by voting every chance you get, you can make a difference in where your city, state, and country are heading. Whether it's for your local school board or for president, we urgently need you to give your voice and your vote. As Dr. King once said, and I quote, "We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action." Class of 2015, Dr. King's words hold true today. They apply to you and to voting. You can and should exercise your right to vote, whether you live in this country or in another democracy. Your Oberlin education and the work you have undertaken with our faculty prepares you to make thoughtful, informed choices and to influence the democratic process. So please put this fabulous education to work. Democracy's future depends on you. Do not surrender your right to vote. Let your voice be heard. Class of 2015, thank you for 4 exciting, eventful years. Remember, you are forever part of the Oberlin family, so stay in touch. We wish you great success.